Doth a bird visit thy dwelling? If nay, believe me, 'tis no mere accident. And if they come, that too is destiny. Birds speak not the tongues of men, yet they know the words of heaven. They possess the spirit eye, seeing the true heart of a house. Today, I shall reveal to thee the 3 virtues that summon these honest witnesses. Heed my words well, for to know this law is to push away misfortune and invite true prosperity into thy life. Let us begin. Chapter 1: The Silent Garden. Hearken to me, friend. I ask thee a question, simple yet profound. Cast thine eyes upon the garden of thy dwelling. Look up to the eaves of thy roof. Tell me, is there life there? Doth the bird come to thy home? If the answer is nay, if thy garden stands silent as a grave, if the air is still and devoid of the fluttering wing, then hear me well. This is no accident. This is no mere roll of the dice in the game of fate. And if, perchance, thou seest the birds frolicking in thy neighbor's yard, yet they shun thine own gate, as if a wall of iron stood between them, that, too, is no coincidence. For the bird is not like us. The bird speaks not the confusing tongues of men. Consider the ways of mankind. Man is a creature of masks. A man may smile with his lips. He may speak words of honey and benevolence, saying, I am good, I am kind. But deep within the secret chambers of his heart, malice may fester. Envy may boil. Greed may rot the very foundations of his soul. Man can lie. Man can paint a beautiful facade over a crumbling ruin. But the bird? Nay, the bird knows no deceit. The bird is the honest witness of heaven. I tell thee, the bird possesses the spirit eye. It sees what thou canst not see. It looks not at the paint upon the walls, nor the gold in the coffers. It looks at the house with eyes that pierce the veil of the material world. It sees the Kai, the energy, the breath of life that flows, or fails to flow, within. With those eyes, it judges. To the good house, the house of warmth and light, it comes. To the house of shadows, the house of coldness, it comes not. There is no judge in this world more honest, more incorruptible, than these small winged messengers. I have lived long, my friend. The frost of many winters has whitened my beard. I have stood as a silent watcher of the years, observing the lives of men and the ways of nature. And I have noticed a strange and undeniable truth, a mystery that many overlook in their haste. There stands a house where, year after year, the birds return. Like clockwork, like a promise kept, they come to build their nests. They raise their young, they sing their songs, they bless the air with their joy. Yet, look but a stone's throw away, there stands the neighbor's house. To the eyes of men, to thy eyes and mine, these two houses may seem identical. They may have the same timber, the same tiles upon the roof, the same soil in the garden. Perhaps the second house is even grander, larger, more imposing in its stature. And yet, 10 years pass, 20 years pass, and not once does a bird weave a nest under its eaves. Not once does the song of the morning rise from its branches. Why is this so? Why does the swallow turn its breast away in mid-flight? Why does the sparrow skirt the fence and fly no further? It is because to the bird's eye, the spirit eye, those two houses are as different as a blooming meadow and a scorched desert. The bird is a creature close to the spirit world. It sees the invisible stains. It feels the cold drafts of the heart that we, with our dulled senses, ignore. Do not turn away from this truth. I know it may sting to hear. Perhaps thou art thinking, my house is clean, my house is new, why do they not come? This is the suffering of the silent garden. This is the reality of a space that has lost its connection to the flow of heaven. It is a loneliness that penetrates deeper than bone. For when the birds shun a place, it is a sign that the life force, the vibrant, Kai, is stagnant. But I ask thee, how does it feel? To wake in the morning to silence? To look out at a garden that is mere decoration, static and dead, rather than a living, breathing sanctuary? Does it not feel as though something is missing? A piece of thy own soul, perhaps? This emptiness is not just about the birds. It is a reflection of the air thou breathest every day. The bird is the mirror. If the mirror shows nothing, it is because there is nothing to reflect but the void. Thou art perhaps working hard, day and night. Thou buildest thy wealth. Thou polishest the floors. Thou buyest fine things. But in the pursuit of the visible, hast thou neglected the invisible? The birds are telling thee what thou art afraid to tell thyself. They are saying, here, the energy does not flow. Here, the warmth is lacking. Do not be disheartened, my friend. Do not let your head hang low in shame. For to acknowledge the silence is the first step toward the song. Most men live their entire lives in this silence, never questioning, never knowing what they have lost. But thou art here. Thou art listening to my voice. That means thy heart is already seeking the answer. That means thou desirest the return of the light. The birds are not rejecting thee out of malice. They are simply obeying the laws of heaven. They are waiting. They are watching from afar, waiting for the change in the wind. Waiting for the moment when thy house becomes a beacon rather than a void. So, I ask thee again, is thy garden silent? If it is, do not cover thine ears. Listen to that silence. Let it speak to thee of what is missing. For in this chapter of thy life, in this quietude, lies the seed of understanding. We must face this reality, this silent garden, before we can plant the flowers that will summon the singers of the sky. We must understand why the bird turns away, before we can invite him in. Are you ready to look deeper? Are you ready to see thy home not with the eyes of a builder, but with the eyes of a bird? Stay with me, for the journey out of the silence begins now. Chapter 2: The Gilded Cage. Come with me now, in your mind's eye. Let us leave the silence of thy own garden for a moment and travel back in time with me. I wish to tell thee of a house I once visited during my long years of wandering. It was a dwelling that, to the eyes of the world, was a monument of success. The gates were of heavy iron, wrought with intricate designs that spoke of great cost. The walls were high, built of stone that could withstand a siege. The garden was vast, stretching out like a green sea before the mansion. Truly, it was a palace fit for a lord. Anyone passing by would stop and say, "Surely, fortune smiles upon those who dwell within." But as I stepped through those imposing gates, a chill seized my heart. It was not the cold of winter, nay, it was a coldness of the spirit. For in this vast estate, amidst the grandeur, there was a silence more deafening than the one we spoke of before. I looked to the trees, ancient and tall. Not a single feather fluttered among the leaves. I looked to the polished eaves of the roof. No nest was to be found. Not even the common sparrow, who begs for crumbs in the poorest of streets, dared to cross the threshold of this gate. It was a kingdom without subjects. It was a painting, perfect and still, but utterly devoid of breath. The master of the house came out to greet me. He was a man of status, clad in silks and fine wool. His hands were soft, uncalloused by labor. His coffers were full, of that I had no doubt. But as I looked into his face, I saw not the glow of satisfaction, but the gray pallor of exhaustion. His eyes were dull, like coins that have lost their shine. There were deep lines etched upon his brow, not from laughter, but from worry and suspicion. We walked through his garden, and I saw the truth of it. Though the space was wide, the grass grew wild and angry. Weeds choked the delicate flowers. It was a chaos of neglect. It seemed the earth itself was rejecting his ownership. I turned to this man, this master of the empty castle, and I asked him the question that burned on my tongue. "Sir," I said gently, "your home is magnificent. But tell me, why do the birds not come? Why is there no song in your trees?" Do you know what he answered? He looked at me with a sneer, a look of disdain curling his lip. "Birds?" he scoffed. "I want no birds here. They are dirty. They leave their droppings. They are noisy. I chase them away. I keep my grounds clear of such filth." He spoke these words with pride, as if he had conquered nature. But I heard only the rattling of chains. He had built a fortress to keep out the filth, of life, and in doing so, he had locked himself in a prison of sterility. I listened further, straining my ears for the sounds of a home. I listened for the laughter of children, for the warm banter of a family sharing a meal. But no such sound came from the open windows. The house was silent. The wife, I learned, kept to her rooms. The children had fled to the city, eager to escape the cold perfection of their father's house. The master stood alone in his overgrown garden, guarding his wealth, guarding his clean stones, while his soul starved for connection. This, my friends, is the gilded cage. This is the suffering of the man who mistakes the container for the contents. He believed that by building a grand house, he would find peace. He believed that by controlling his world, by scrubbing away the dirt of nature, he would find purity. But he found only isolation. To the bird, that house was not a palace. It was a desolate rock. It was a place where the Kai, the life force, was stagnant and rotting. The bird, with its spirit eye, saw the truth that the man could not see. It saw a house that was dead, and being a creature of life, it fled from death. The bird is honest. You can fool your neighbors with a fresh coat of paint. You can fool the banker with a heavy purse. But you cannot fool the sparrow. You cannot lie to the swallow. If your heart is poisoned with arrogance, if you view the living world as something to be cleaned away, the bird will leave you to your solitude. Money cannot buy the flutter of a wing. Power cannot command the song of the morning. I ask thee now, look at thine own life. Are you, perhaps, building a small version of this gilded cage? Are you so obsessed with order, with cleanliness, with protecting what is yours, that you have shut out the messiness of life? Do you chase away the inconveniences, only to find you have chased away the joy as well? It is a tragedy I have seen too many times. A man works 50 years to build a house, only to find he has built a mausoleum. He has the gold, but he has lost the warmth. Do not look at this rich man with hate. Look at him with pity, for he is poor in the only currency that matters to heaven. He is a king of nothing. But fear not, unlike a cage of iron, the cage of the heart has a door that is never locked. It can be opened, but one must first realize that he is inside it. One must first realize that the dirt he fears is the very soil from which happiness grows. In the next chapter, we shall peel back the veil of this mystery. We shall speak of the invisible forces that the rich man could not see. We shall speak of the Kai and the virtue. We shall discover why the bird is the ultimate judge of a home's true worth. Prepare thyself, for we are about to step from the visible world into the invisible. Are you ready to see what the bird sees? Chapter 3: The Invisible Flow. Now, we must peel back the skin of the world. We have spoken of the silence, and we have spoken of the gilded cage. But to understand why the bird chooses one roof over another, we must look with eyes that see beyond the brick and mortar. We must ascend to a vantage point high above, to see the world as the heavens see it. To see the truth that is hidden from the mundane gaze. Why does the bird choose? Why does the swallow swerve to the left, towards a humble cottage, and avoid the palace on the right? Is it the quality of the worms in the soil? Is it the angle of the sun? Nay, these are but trifles. The true reason lies deeper. It lies in the very heartbeat of the home. You see, every house possesses something called virtue. Now, do not mistake my meaning. I speak not of the virtue of a saint in a painting. I speak of a living, breathing substance. Virtue is invisible to the human eye, yes. You cannot hold it in your hand. You cannot weigh it on a scale. But it is as real as the foundation stones of your dwelling. It is born from the human heart. It is born from the thoughts you think, the words you speak, the feelings you harbor within your walls. Imagine, if you will, a spring of water welling up from the ground. The heart of the family is that spring. If the heart is kind, if the heart is pure, if the heart is gentle, then virtue flows out like clear, sweet water. It fills the rooms. It soaks into the pillars. It permeates the very air. And eventually, it overflows. It spills out of the windows and doors, cascading into the garden, flowing out into the street. And this overflowing virtue gives birth to Kai. Kai, the breath of life, the energy of the cosmos. In the ancient tongues, it is known as the force that moves the stars and grows the grass. This Kai is what the birds see. To us, a house is wood and stone. But to a bird, a house is a swirling vortex of energy. The bird is a creature that stands with one foot in the material world and one foot in the spirit world. They are the messengers of the sky, closer to the heavens than any beast that walks the earth. Their eyes are not like ours. Their eyes perceive the light of the spirit. When a house is filled with the Kai of virtue, it glows. To the bird flying high above, such a house shines like a beacon in the night. It radiates a warmth that signals safety, abundance, and life. The bird is drawn to this light as a moth is drawn to a flame, but without the danger. It is a magnetic pull. The bird does not think, I shall go to that house. The bird simply must go. It is the law of nature. Where the Kai flows, life gathers. But what of the house where virtue is absent? What of the house where the heart is cold, where anger reigns, or where indifference has settled like dust? In such a place, the Kai is stagnant. It is dark. It is heavy. To the bird's eye, that house is a void. Or worse, it is a place of sharp, prickly energy that repels. Just as you would pull your hand away from a hot iron, the bird pulls its flight away from a house that lacks virtue. It is not a conscious choice of, I do not like this man. It is a survival instinct. The bird knows that where there is no virtue, there is no life-sustaining force. And so, it stays away. This is the great secret, my friends. The bird is a mirror. It is the most honest mirror you will ever possess. It reflects the invisible state of your home. If your garden is full of song, it is because your home is full of virtue. If your garden is silent, it is because the flow has stopped. The bird does not lie. It cannot lie. It simply reacts to the truth of the energy you have created. And know this, there are different flavors of this Kai. Just as there are many kinds of flowers, there are many kinds of virtue. There is the virtue of mercy, the warmth of family love. There is the virtue of purity, the clarity of a clean and ordered life. There is the virtue of innocence, the gentle love of nature and quietude. Each of these virtues emits a different light, a different scent to the spiritual senses of the avian kind. And so, different birds are drawn to different virtues. The swallow seeks one thing. The sparrow seeks another. The white-eye seeks yet another. By looking at the birds that come, or do not come, you can read the state of your own soul. Is that not a terrifying thought? But is it not also a magnificent one? It means that the power to change your world lies entirely within you. It is not about changing the architecture. It is not about buying better birdseed. It is about changing the flow of the Kai. I ask thee now what flows from the windows of thy heart. If we could see the energy of thy home right now, what color would it be? Would it be a warm, inviting gold? Or would it be a dull, lifeless gray? Do not despair if the answer is gray. For the source of the flow is you. And you are alive. As long as you breathe, you can change the nature of the spring. You can begin to generate virtue. The reason the birds shun the gilded cage we spoke of before is now clear. That house had gold, but it had no virtue. It had walls, but it had no Kai. It was a dead thing, and life does not nest in death. But your house has potential. The very fact that you are listening to these words means the spring is stirring. The water wants to flow. In the next chapter, we shall descend from this high view and look at the obstacles. We shall look at the human heart that actively rejects this flow. We shall speak of the heart that rejects. Why do we, in our modern wisdom, chase away the very blessings we seek? Why do we break the nests and silence the songs? We must understand this tragedy before we can fix it. Stay with me. The path is becoming clearer. We have seen the invisible. Now we must face the barriers we have built against it. Chapter 4: The Heart That Rejects. Alas, my friends, now we must turn our gaze to a sight that brings tears to these old eyes. We have spoken of the invisible, Kai, and the honest nature of the bird. We have established that the bird comes bearing the seal of heaven's approval. It comes to say, here, in this place, there is life. Here, there is virtue. But how does the world of men respond to this sacred visitation? Look around you. Look at the cities. Look at the towns of this modern age. What do you see? I see a tragedy unfolding in slow motion. I see men and women, blessed with the arrival of these winged messengers, raising their hands not in welcome, but in anger. Begone, they cry. Filthy beast, they shout. I have seen homeowners, faces twisted in disgust, taking long poles to knock down the swallow's nest that was so painstakingly built with mud and straw. I have seen them string up nets and spikes, turning their eaves into fortresses of rejection. They say, it is dirty. They say, the dropping soil my porch. They say, the chirping at dawn is too loud, it disturbs my sleep. Oh, the foolishness of it. It makes my heart ache with a heaviness I can barely describe. Dirty, they say? Is the earth dirty? Is the soil from which our food grows dirty? Is the life that pulses through the veins of the world dirty? They have confused sterility with purity. They have confused silence with peace. And in doing so, they commit a grave sin against their own fortune. Think upon this: the bird is a guest invited by the spiritual state of your home. It has seen the faint glimmer of virtue and has come to fan that spark into a flame. It brings with it the energy of growth, of vitality, of protection. To destroy its nest, to crush the fragile eggs, to chase away the parents. Do you not see what this is? It is like slamming the door in the face of an angel who has come to deliver a gift of gold. It is saying to heaven, I do not want your blessings. I prefer my cold, clean emptiness. I feel it is such a waste. Matainai, as the ancients might say, a waste so profound it borders on sacrilege. The bird that comes to your house is proof that your house possesses something good. It is a certificate of merit from the universe. And yet, people tear up this certificate and throw it in the dustbin because of a few specks of mud. I have watched the fate of such houses. And I tell you now, with the solemnity of a judge, that the consequences are real. When you violently reject the flow of nature, you create a backlash. You sever the cord that connects you to the earth, and when that cord is cut, the Kai withers. The air in the house becomes stale, the protection fades, and into that void, other things creep in. Misfortune, sickness, conflict. I have seen families that chased away the swallows only to find their business failing within the year. I have seen gardens where the sparrow was banned, and soon after, a gloom settled over the household that no doctor could cure. Why does this happen? It is not that the birds curse you. Nay, birds are not vindictive. It is that by rejecting the bird, you are rejecting the principle of life itself. You are declaring that you are separate from nature, superior to it, and that you have no need of its wild, messy vitality. This arrogance is a poison. It hardens the heart, and a hard heart cannot hold on to happiness. Happiness is like water, it needs a soft, open vessel. If your heart is a clenched fist, armed with a broom to strike at the innocent, how can blessings enter? You complain of the noise? That noise is the song of life. It is the sound of the world turning, of the sun rising, of the cycle continuing. To find it annoying is to admit that your soul has grown out of tune with the universe. You complain of the mess? That mess is a small price to pay for the guardianship of the skies. Would you refuse a chest of diamonds because it was covered in a little dust? That is what these people are doing. I ask thee, my friend, where do you stand? When you see a nest being built under your roof, what is the first emotion that rises in your chest? Is it annoyance, or is it gratitude? If you have ever chased a bird away, do not hide in shame. We are all children of a confused age. We have been taught that nature is something to be controlled, sanitized, and paved over. But it is not too late to unlearn this lie. The bird is the litmus test. It exposes the heart that rejects. But know this: heaven is patient, but it is not foolish. If you keep slamming the door, eventually, the knocking will stop. The birds will learn. They will mark your house as a place of danger, a dead zone. And they will fly past, carrying their blessings to the neighbor who knows the value of a little mud. Do not be the king of a clean, dead castle. Do not be the master of a silent, sterile tomb. It is a waste beyond measure. We must change this heart. We must soften the stone. We must learn to see the bird not as a pest, but as a priest. Not as an intruder, but as a divine inspector. But perhaps you are thinking, I want to change. I want the birds to come. But I do not know how. Perhaps you see the error of the world's ways, and you wish to walk a different path. Take heart, for even a heart that has been closed can be opened again. Even a house that has been silent for decades can learn to sing. There are those who understand this secret. There are those who welcome the birds, and in return, receive miracles. In the next chapter, I will tell you of such a person. I will tell you of an old woman in a village who knew nothing of kai, or virtue, in her head, but knew everything in her heart. She will be our bridge. She will show us that the path is not one of difficult study, but of simple joy. We are moving from the darkness of rejection to the light of acceptance. Are you ready to meet her? Are you ready to learn the secret of the mirror of virtue? Chapter 5: The Mirror of Virtue. Let us turn our backs now on the cold stone of the wealthy man's fortress. Let us leave behind the angry shouts of those who chase the swallows away. I wish to take you to a different place. Come with me, in spirit, to a small village I visited many years ago. A place where the wind blows soft through the trees, and the earth smells of rain and honest labor. It was there that I met an old woman. She was not a queen. She wore no silk. Her hands were gnarled like the roots of an ancient oak, rough from years of working the soil. Her house was humble. The roof was thatched. The wood was weathered silver by the sun. To the eyes of the banker, it was worth little. But to my eyes, and to the eyes of the heavens, it was a palace of light. I sat with her on her porch, sipping warm tea, and she pointed a trembling finger toward the eaves of her roof. There, a bird was busy feeding its young. Her face, wrinkled like a dried apple, broke into a smile so pure it would shame the sun. She said to me, "You see that bird? That little one there?" I nodded. "That bird," she whispered, as if sharing a sacred secret, "has come back to me for 10 years. 10 years. Every spring, without fail, he returns to this very spot. 10 years. Think on that, my friends. Humans are fickle creatures. We forget favors. We forget promises. We drift apart. But this small creature, with a brain no bigger than a nut, remembered. It crossed oceans, it weathered storms, it flew thousands of miles. Just to return to this one specific house, to this one specific woman." I looked at her and asked, "Grandmother, why do you think he returns? Why does he choose your house, year after year, when there are so many others?" I waited for her answer. I expected perhaps she would say, "I feed him the best grain," or "I built him a special shelf." But nay, she looked at me with eyes as clear as a mountain stream and simply said, "I do not know. I truly do not know. I am just happy. I am just glad he is here." Ah, there it is. Do you hear the truth ringing in those simple words? I do not know. She had no calculation. She had no greed. She did not demand the bird's presence. She simply was, and in her being, there was a warmth that called out to the wild things. I said to her, "Grandmother, I shall tell you why. It is because your house possesses an unchanging virtue, a goodness that does not waver. The bird knows this. The bird sees the light of your heart. People may forget, for people are easily distracted by the glittering things of the world. But the bird never forgets. The bird never forgets a good house." This brings us to the great revelation of our journey. The bird is not merely a visitor. The bird is a mirror. The mirror of virtue. It reflects what is already there. Just as a mirror cannot show a smile if the face before it is frowning, a bird cannot show comfort if the house before it is full of strife. This old woman, she possessed a specific kind of kai, a specific energy. And the bird that came to her was drawn to that specific energy. It is a law as bind as gravity. Like attracts like. The peaceful heart attracts the peaceful bird. The chaotic heart attracts only silence or pests. So, look at the bird. If you wish to know the state of your own home, do not ask your neighbors. Do not ask your family, for they may flatter you. Ask the bird. What kind of bird comes to you? Does the swallow come? Does the sparrow come? Does the white-eye come? Or does the crow come to scavenge? By observing the guest, you understand the host. This is the wisdom I have gathered over my long years. Virtue is not one single thing. It comes in many colors, many flavors. There is the virtue that warms the family like a hearth fire. There is the virtue that cleanses the spirit like a fresh breeze. There is the virtue that calms the soul like a quiet forest. And for each of these virtues, there is a specific messenger sent from the heavens to acknowledge it. The old woman did not know she was a saint of the soil. She simply lived her life with love, and that love became a beacon. Imagine, my friends, if your house could be such a beacon. Imagine if, instead of silence, your mornings were filled with the chirping of gratitude. It is possible. It is not a fairy tale. It is a reality waiting for you to claim it. You do not need to be rich. You do not need a grand estate. The bird does not care for the price of your timber. It cares for the talk, the virtue that seeps from your pores and fills your dwelling. In the chapters that follow, we shall step into the light. We have lingered long enough in the shadows of the silent garden and the gilded cage. Now, I wish to show you the destination. I wish to show you the sanctuary. The place where the mirror shines brightest. The place where not one, but 3 distinct blessings gather. Are you ready to see what is possible? Are you ready to envision the ideal home? The home that heaven itself has blessed? Open your heart, for the path of the 3 birds is about to be revealed. Let the image of that old woman's smile stay with you, for she is the proof. Virtue calls to life, and life answers. Chapter 6: The Sanctuary of 3 Birds. I have led you through the valley of silence. I have shown you the barren wasteland of the gilded cage. I have explained the invisible laws of Kai and virtue. But now, my friends, lift up your heads, for I wish to show you the destination of our journey. I wish to paint for you a picture of the promised land. It is not a palace in the clouds. It is a real home, made of wood and earth, that I once had the privilege to behold. It was the home of a simple elderly couple. They possessed no great chests of gold. Their clothes were mended with care, not bought new from the tailor. Yet, this house remains in my memory as the most beautiful place on God's green earth. Why? Because it was a sanctuary. It was a rare and blessed dwelling where the 3 virtues, mercy, purity, and innocence, danced together in perfect harmony. And as a testament to this harmony, not 1, not 2, but all 3 of the sacred birds gathered there. Picture the scene with me. The day begins before the sun has fully climbed the hills. The old couple rises, greeting the dawn not with groans, but with gratitude. Ohayo, they say to one another. Good morning. They stand before their family altar, clapping their hands in prayer, sending their thanks to the ancestors. And then, the work begins. They sweep the porch, they water the stones, they purify the ground. And who answers this call of purity? The sparrow. As the morning mist lifts, a flock of brown sparrows descends upon the garden. Chun chun, chun chun. They hop about the freshly swept yard, busy and bright. They are the guardians of the morning, drawn by the clean, crisp energy of the couple's diligence. They eat the invisible dust, they cleanse the spiritual air. To watch them is to feel the very pulse of life awakening. The sun climbs higher. It is noon. The hard work is done, and a gentle peace settles over the house. The old man sits on the ingawa, the wooden porch, sipping his tea. The garden is in full bloom. Plum blossoms, azaleas, vibrant and sweet. And who answers this call of innocence? The white eye, the mahiro. A flash of brilliant green. A ring of pure white around the eye. It flits among the branches, sipping the nectar of the flowers. It sings a song of pure melody, soft and sweet. It does not fear the old man. It knows his heart is gentle. It knows he loves the flowers as much as it does. This bird is the spirit of tranquility, drawn by the couple's love for nature. The afternoon passes in a golden haze of peace. And then, the sun begins to set. The sky turns to purple and gold. The neighbors stop by. Grandchildren come running, their laughter ringing like bells. The family gathers around the table. They share their stories of the day. They comfort one another. They laugh. And who answers this call of mercy? The swallow, the sabama. With a swoosh of black wings, the swallows return to their nests under the eaves. One nest, two nests, three nests. They dive and circle, bringing food to their crying chicks. They are the symbol of family, of return, of fidelity. They are drawn by the warmth of the love that flows from the open windows. They know that here, under this roof, no harm will befall them. 3 birds, 3 times of day, 3 distinct virtues. The sparrow in the morning for purity. The white eye at noon for innocence. The swallow in the evening for mercy. This house was complete. It lacked nothing. The air was thick with blessings. Sickness seemed to pass over them. Misfortune seemed to lose its way before it could reach their gate. They were protected by a shield of living wings. I looked at that couple, sipping their tea as the sun went down, surrounded by this symphony of nature. And I thought to myself, this is it. This is the kingdom of heaven on earth. This is what it means to be truly wealthy. The Kai in that house was flowing like a mighty river, clear and strong. The birds were merely the visible sign of an invisible grace. I ask thee, my friend, can you see it? Can you feel the peace of such a place? Does your heart not long for such a sanctuary? It is not impossible. Do not say, I am too busy. Do not say, I live in the city. The birds are everywhere. The virtues are available to all. That old couple was not magical. They were simply consistent. They lived the 3 paths every single day. And now, you are asking, how? How do I walk these paths? How do I call the swallow? How do I invite the sparrow? How do I woo the white eye? You are ready. I can feel your desire. You wish to leave the suffering of the empty garden and enter the joy of the sanctuary. So, let us descend from the mountain top. Let us get practical. In the chapters that follow, I will give you the map. I will teach you the specific actions, the magga, the path, that summons each of these divine messengers. We shall start with the path of the swallow, the path of mercy. Prepare your heart, for the transformation of your home begins with the next word I speak. Chapter 7: The Path of Mercy, the Swallow. We stand now at the threshold of action. We have seen the vision. Now we must walk the path. I promised to show thee the 3 ways to summon the messengers of heaven. Let us begin with the first, and perhaps the most beloved of all, the path of mercy. And who is the master of this path? It is the swallow, the sabama. Do you know this bird? Surely, you have seen him. When spring breathes warmth back into the frozen earth, he comes. He has crossed the great and perilous oceans to reach our shores. Look at him closely. His tail is long and forked, divided in 2 like a pair of scissors cutting the wind. His throat is flushed with red, as if blushing with life. His belly is white as the cloud. He does not hide in the deep forest. Nay, he is a bold one. He comes right to the eaves of our houses. He gathers mud and straw with his beak, building a cup of clay to cradle his future. But ask thyself why? Why does the swallow choose that specific house to build his fortress of mud? Is it the shape of the roof? Is it the direction of the wind? Nay, my friends, the swallow chooses a house because he senses the virtue of mercy. And what is this mercy? It is not a grand, religious thing. It is the simple, warm pulse of a family that cherishes one another. It is the heart that says, "You are safe here." Let me paint you a picture of what mercy looks like in action. It begins with a voice. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" It ends with a voice. "Good night. Rest well." It is the sound of concern when a child coughs. It is the laughter shared over a bowl of rice. It is the invisible thread that ties one heart to another within the walls of a home. I once watched a house that was the very definition of this path. It was a large house, where 3 generations lived under one roof. There were the grandparents, bowed with age but rich in wisdom. There were the parents, strong and working hard. And there were the children, noisy and full of sap. In this modern age, such a household is rare. But in this house, every morning, without fail, they all gathered around the table. They broke their fast together. If one chair was empty, the grandfather would ask, "Where is he? Is he well?" They did not rush past each other like strangers in a train station. They stopped, they looked, they spoke, and what happened in that house? Under the eaves of their roof, the swallows came. The first year, a single pair built a nest. The family watched with delight, careful not to disturb their guests. The next year, 2 pairs came. And by the 3rd year, 3 nests were lined up like trophies of love. It was as if the birds were multiplying in rhythm with the family's growing affection. You see, the swallow has a keen sense for the kai of connection. When people ignore each other, when a family is scattered and cold, the air in the house becomes thin and brittle. The swallow hates such air. It feels unsafe. But where there is care, where there is the warmth of welcome home, the air is thick and supportive. The swallow is drawn to this warmth. It wants to raise its young in a place where love is the law. And mark my words, there is a reward for this hospitality. The swallow does not come empty-handed. He is a harbinger of prosperity. When the swallow nests, misfortunes seem to bounce off the roof tiles. Sickness stays far away, and for those who trade and sell, business begins to bloom. I remember a merchant, the master of a small shop, who spoke to me with wonder in his eyes. "Sir," he said, "ever since the swallows built their nest above my shop sign, the customers have increased." "Why is this?" I smiled and told him the truth. "It is not magic, my friend. It is resonance. The swallows came because your house is full of the virtue of mercy. That same warmth, that same inviting kai, that pulled the birds from the sky. It pulls the people from the street. Customers may not see the virtue, but they feel it. They feel good in your shop. They want to be near that warmth. So, if a swallow comes to thy house, rejoice. It is a certificate from heaven. It says, here lives a family of good heart. It is a blessing that money cannot buy. Therefore, I implore thee never, ever chase them away. Do not be like the foolish man in the gilded cage who worries about a little mud on his floor. That mud is holy. That nest is a shrine to the bond of family. If you destroy the nest, you destroy the blessing. You tell heaven, I do not value connection. And soon, the connection will break. But perhaps you say, my house is empty of birds. Then begin today. Walk the path of mercy. It starts with your voice. Turn to your wife, your husband, your child, your parent. Look them in the eye. Say, good morning. Say it with your heart. Care for them. Create that warmth. And one spring morning, you will hear a flutter of wings. And you will know that the test has been passed. This is the first path. The path of the swallow. But it is not the only one. There is another bird. A humble warrior who guards the gate against invisible evils. He seeks a different kind of virtue. He seeks the virtue of the broom. Stay with me, for next we shall walk the path of purity, and meet the bird who eats the very shadows that threaten us. Are you ready to cleanse your world? Chapter 8: The Path of Purity. The Sparrow. We have warmed our hearts with the love of the swallow. Now, we must roll up our sleeves. We must take hold of the broom. For the second path is not about the warmth of the blood, but the clarity of the spirit. It is the path of purity. And who is the guardian of this path? It is the most common, yet the most underestimated of all birds, the sparrow, the suzume. You know him well. He is small, round as a dumpling, dressed in humble brown with spots of black upon his cheek. He does not soar high like the eagle, nor does he sing elaborate operas like the nightingale. He flits about in gangs, chirping his rhythmic chun-chun, chun-chun. He is everywhere, but do not be deceived by his commonness. In the eyes of heaven, the sparrow is a mighty warrior. Why does the sparrow choose a house? Why does a flock descend upon one garden and leave another bare? It is because he seeks the virtue of purity. And what is this purity? It is the heart that maintains order. It is the discipline of the clean house. It is the spirit that refuses to let dust, physical or spiritual, settle in the corners of life. Let me take you to a house that taught me the power of this path. It was the home of an elderly couple. Their story is one common to our times. Their children, grown and restless, had fled the nest, moving to the bright lights of the metropolis. The house was too big for two old souls. It would have been easy to let the dust gather in the unused rooms. It would have been easy to let the weeds conquer the garden. Many would have surrendered to the lethargy of age. But not this couple. Nay, they possessed a quiet, steely resolve. Every morning, before the kettle whistled, the old woman took her broom to the entrance. Swish, swish, she swept the dust of yesterday away. The old man took his hoe to the garden. He plucked the weeds as if they were sins trying to take root. They polished the wooden floors until they shone like mirrors. They wiped the windows until the glass disappeared. For decades, they kept this rhythm. They honored their home as if it were a temple. And what was the result of this holy labor? One morning, the sparrows came. At first, it was but a handful, a few brown specks dancing on the garden wall. But as the days turned to weeks, the numbers grew. Soon, it became a daily ritual. As the sun rose and the sound of the broom began, swish, swish, the air would fill with the sound of wings. A great clan of sparrows would descend, surrounding the house. They hopped on the roof. They lined the fence. They chattered and chirped as if applauding the couple's work. It looked, to my eyes, as though the house was being embraced. It was a fortress of feathers. You see, the sparrow loves the kai of cleanliness. They are repelled by stagnation. They hate the heavy, sticky air of a cluttered, dirty room. But where the air is crisp, where the energy flows without obstruction, they gather in joy. But there is a deeper secret here, a secret known to the ancients, but forgotten by the moderns. The sparrow is not just a visitor. The sparrow is a purifier. In the old tales, the sparrow is called the bird of Yakuyok, the warding off of evil. Why? Because just as they peck at the bugs that eat the crops, they peck at the invisible bugs that eat our fortune. They eat the yaku, the bad luck, the malice, the tiny fragments of dark energy that drift into our lives. When a sparrow visits your garden, he is performing a spiritual fumigation. He is cleansing the ether around your home. I remember the old woman of that house asking me, her face full of wonder, "Sir, every morning the sparrows come in such numbers. Is this a good omen?" I looked at her, standing there with her broom, her soul as clean as her porch. "Madam," I said, "it is the best of omens. It is the seal of purity. Your house is being kept safe. The sparrows are eating the shadows before they can cross your threshold. Misfortune cannot enter here, for the guards are too many." And it was true. Though they were old, sickness did not plague them. Disaster did not visit their door. They lived in a bubble of serenity, protected by the small brown soldiers of heaven. So, I ask thee now, how is thy dwelling? Look at your entrance, the Genkan. Is it cluttered with muddy shoes and old umbrellas? Look at your corners. Do dust bunnies dance there like ghosts? If the sparrow does not come, it may be because the air is too heavy for him to breathe. Do not despair. The path of purity is the easiest to start. You do not need to be a saint. You only need a broom. Start tomorrow morning. Sweep the front step. Wipe the door handle. Pick up that one piece of trash. Do it not as a chore, but as an offering to the God of the house. Do it to clear the kai. It may seem a small thing, What can a broom do, you ask? The broom changes the atmosphere. And when the atmosphere changes, the sparrow notices. He will see the clean patch of light in the gray world. He will come down to investigate. And when you hear that first chun-chun in your garden, know this. The cleaning has begun. The bad luck is being eaten. Your house is becoming a fortress of purity. This is the power of the sparrow. Small, but mighty. But our journey is not yet done. There is one more bird. A bird of beauty and elegance. A bird that seeks not the family bond, nor the clean floor, but something even more delicate. He seeks the virtue of innocence. He seeks the heart that loves a single flower. Stay with me, for next, we walk the path of innocence, and meet the green jewel of the garden, the white eye. Are you ready to plant the seed of beauty? Chapter 9: The Path of Innocence, the White Eye. We have secured the family bond with the swallow. We have purified the ground with the sparrow. Now, we must attend to the garden of the soul. We arrive at the third path. It is the most delicate, the most fragrant, and perhaps the most beautiful of them all. It is the path of innocence. And who is the messenger for this path? He is the jewel of the garden. He is the white eye, the Mahiro. Have you ever been graced by his presence? He is a tiny creature, smaller even than the sparrow. His feathers are the color of fresh spring leaves, a vibrant, living yellow-green. Around his eye, drawn with the precision of a master painter, is a perfect ring of white. That is why we call him Mahiro, white eye. He does not come for the mud. He does not come for the bugs on the ground. He comes for the sweetness. He comes when the plum blossoms open their petals. He comes when the camellias bloom. He hangs upside down from the branches, sipping the nectar with a brush-tipped tongue, singing a song that sounds like silver bells. Why does the Mahiro choose a house? He is a shy bird. He is easily startled, yet he will come to a window where a human sits just inches away. Why? Because he seeks the virtue of innocence, or Jun Anyaka in the old tongue. And what is this innocence? It is the heart that loves living things. It is the spirit that delights in the blooming of a flower. It is the gentleness that refuses to crush even a crawling insect without cause. Let me tell you a story that touches my heart every time I recall it. It is the story of an old man who lived in solitude. His life had been stripped bare by the cruel winds of time. His beloved wife had passed into the next world. His children were grown and lived far away, across the mountains. He was alone in a house that echoed with memories. It would have been easy for his heart to turn to stone. It would have been easy for him to wither away in bitterness. But this old man possessed a secret strength. He turned his love toward the earth. Every day, with a back bent by age, he tended his small garden. He treated his trees as if they were his children. He spoke to the plum tree Ume as he gave it fertilizer. "Eat well," he would say. He watered the azaleas with gentle hands. "Drink deep," he would whisper. He did not do this for praise. No one was watching. He did it because his heart overflowed with care for these silent lives. And then, one spring morning, a miracle occurred. The plum tree burst into bloom, filling the air with its sweet scent. And from the sky, drawn by that scent and the invisible warmth of the old man's love, came the Mahiro. At first, it was just one, a flash of green against the pink blossoms. The old man sat on his porch, holding his breath, his eyes wide with joy. The bird looked at him. It saw the white ring of the bird's eye meet the tear-filled eye of the man. And the bird did not fly away. It sensed no danger. It sensed only love. The next year, 2 birds came. The year after that, 3. Eventually, the old man's garden became a sanctuary for these green jewels. They became his companions. He would sit for hours on the Ingawa, watching them play, listening to their song. He told me once, with a face that glowed like a boy's, "Since the Mahiro came, my loneliness has vanished. My heart is calm. I feel at peace." You see, the Mahiro is drawn to the kai of gentleness. They cannot abide the energy of conflict. If a house is filled with shouting, with the slamming of doors, with the heavy red aura of anger, the Mahiro will never come. They are sensitive souls. They are the mirrors of the peaceful heart. But where there is a love for nature, where there is a quiet appreciation for the beauty of a single leaf, they gather. The ancients called the Mahiro the messenger of God. They believed that if this bird visited your home, it was a sign that your heart was pure. And I believe they were right. The bird sees what we cannot. It sees through the mask. You can pretend to be calm, but if your heart is a storm of rage, the Mahiro knows. He stays away. But for the old man, whose heart was as gentle as the rain, the bird came close enough to touch. So, I ask thee now, is there a flower in your life? Do you stop to admire the green grass? Or do you walk past the miracles of nature with your eyes glued to a screen? If the Mahiro does not come, it may be because your garden, and your heart, lacks the sweetness of nectar. But I have no garden. You say, I live in a box of concrete. Do not use that excuse. The virtue of innocence does not require an acre of land. It requires only a pot. Buy a single flower. Put it on your balcony. Water it. Speak to it. Love it. Put out a slice of orange in the winter. Show the heavens that you care for life. Show the Mahiro that there is a safe harbor here. When you learn to love a flower, your kai changes. The sharp edges of your spirit soften. The anger of the world begins to melt, and in that softness, the green jewel will find a home. And when he comes, when he comes, you will know a peace that passes all understanding. It is the peace of being one with the great flow of life. We have now walked the three paths: the path of mercy with the swallow, the path of purity with the sparrow, the path of innocence with the white eye. You have the map, you have the tools. Now, we must bring it all together. We must stand at the beginning of your new life. In the final chapter, I will give you the courage to start today. The birds are waiting. The sky is full of blessings. Are you ready to open your door? Chapter 10. Begin this day. We have traveled a long road together, thou and I. We have stood in the silence of the empty garden. We have peered through the bars of the gilded cage. We have soared on the wings of the swallow, the sparrow, and the white eye. We have uncovered the ancient laws of kai and virtue. Now, the time for listening is at an end. Now is the time for doing. Perhaps a heavy sigh escapes thy lips. Perhaps thou art thinking, this is too much for me. I am not a saint, you say. I am tired from my work, you say. My house is old. My family is distant. My heart is dry. How can I build a sanctuary? It is a mountain too high to climb. Nay, my friend, do not think such thoughts. Do not let the weight of the world crush the seed of hope I have planted in thy chest. The path to the sanctuary is not a steep cliff. It is a gentle slope, and it does not require grand gestures. Heaven does not ask you to rebuild your roof with gold. Heaven asks only for a small shift in the wind of your heart. The wisdom of the ages tells us clearly. It is not difficult. It begins with the small things. Let us review the three ways, not as high philosophy, but as simple acts of daily life. First, the path of mercy. How do you start? You do not need to save the world. You need only to turn to the person standing next to you. Tomorrow morning, when you rise, open your mouth. Say, good morning. Say it not as a habit, but as a blessing. Ohayu. If you live alone, say it to the empty room. Say it to the ancestors. Say it to yourself. I am here. You are here. We are alive. That single phrase is the seed of mercy. It warms the air. It invites the swallow. Second, the path of purity. How do you start? You do not need to scrub the floor until your hands bleed. You need only to pick up the broom for 5 minutes. Sweep the dust from the entrance. Straighten the shoes. Wipe the mirror. Do it every day. Just a little. Let this place be clean, you think. That single act is the seed of purity. It clears the air. It invites the sparrow. Third, the path of innocence. How do you start? You do not need a forest. You need only one flower. Buy a small pot. Put it where the sun shines. Give it water. Look at it and smile. Grow strong, you whisper. That single moment of connection is the seed of innocence. It sweetens the air. It invites the white eye. Is that all? You ask. Yes, that is all. But do not underestimate the power of accumulation. A single drop of water is nothing, but a million drops make a river that can carve through stone. These small acts, the greeting, the sweeping, the watering, are drops of virtue. Day by day, they accumulate. They change the kai of your house. They change the magnetic field of your life. Do not think that you must do great things to be seen by heaven. The birds are watching the small things. They see the crumb you left. They hear the soft word you spoke, and they are drawn to it. However, I must give you a word of caution. Patience. You must have patience. Do not wake up tomorrow, sweep the floor once, and run to the window expecting a flock of birds to descend. The bird is not a servant. The bird is a judge. He is watching to see if this change is real. He waits to see if the kai is stable. It may take a week. It may take a month. It may take a year, or even 2. As I have seen in the turning of the seasons, continue, and change will surely come. Do not lose heart if the sky remains empty for a season. The change is happening inside before it happens outside. Your heart is softening. Your home is brightening. And then, one day, it will happen. You will be sitting at your table, or washing your face. And you will hear it. Chun chun, swoosh, gigi gigi. A shadow will cross the window. You will look out, and there, sitting on your fence, looking right at you, will be the messenger. In that moment, your heart will swell. You will know, ah, heaven has seen me. Heaven has accepted my life. I am not alone. That joy, my friend, is worth more than all the gold in the bank. It is a joy that money cannot buy. It is the assurance that you are living in harmony with the great laws of the universe. I have watched this truth for many long years, and I tell you this with the certainty of the sunrise. The house where birds come will prosper. The house where birds flee will decline. This is the unshakable truth. Prosperity flows where life flows. Decay follows where life is rejected. So, if you wish for health, if you wish for peace, if you wish for your family to be safe and your work to be blessed, call the birds, not with nets, but with virtue, not with food alone, but with the atmosphere of your soul. If, one day, the birds choose your house, if they build a nest under your eaves, I beg of you, welcome them. Do not complain of the noise. Do not complain of the mess. They are not bringing dirt. They are bringing luck. They are the carriers of fortune. They are the evidence of heaven. Protect them. Watch over them. For in protecting them, you protect yourself. The journey begins now, not tomorrow. Today. The next word you speak to your family. The next piece of trash you pick up. The next glance you cast at a tree. Make it count. The birds are waiting. They are circling in the sky, looking for a place to land. They are looking for a heart that is open. They are looking for your house. Believe in this path, live this path, and surely, the wings of blessing shall fold upon your roof. Epilogue: The Song of Heaven. Hearken to the voices at dawn, the chirp of the sparrow, the song of the white eye, the cry of the swallow. Their melody is a blessing from above, a sign that thou art watched over. Despair not if thy garden is yet silent. Begin this day to polish thy heart, and surely, the winged guests shall return. Live with the birds, for that is the path of true joy. I shall wait for the day when thy home sings with the music of heaven. Thank you for watching. With gratitude.